possible to ever have a balance between work and home life? I would hope so, because I find that I struggle the most with the thought that sometimes I'm just living to work. I put myself behind the eight ball so much with my past drug abuse and with my drinking and just my overall inability to deal and process things in life that I find I'm playing catch up a little bit. So I'm making, I'm financially, I'm doing very well, but at times I know and I struggle with the fact that we've got a finite time and on this. I mean, this life doesn't go forever, and are we going to look back and say we worked every day, money that we can't take with us, and never have had that the opportunity or taken the opportunity to actually just live and be out there and not be under any pretense of having to make money, just enjoying life. That's something that I constantly struggle with, and I don't foresee that not being an issue. It's something I have to check myself on because uh, I get sometimes overwhelmed with some thoughts that uh, you know, all I'm doing right now is working. None of the stuff I'm netting myself is going to be able to go with me. We don't take money with us when we pass. So
If you're failing at life, can you ever really succeed at work?
I think they go synonymous with one another as far as, um, you know, when you're not loving yourself and giving yourself the opportunities that you deserve, and you start to have more and more pitfalls as far as just doing things that are destructive, and you would be considered failing at life. Um, I would say that that's cyclical. You're probably failing at work. You lose jobs. I know that when I was dealing with my addiction, it was always everybody else's fault. But I mean, I worked at King's Toyota 3 times. I got fired from them 3 times, and it was because of my overall attitude. And I could do what I want, and have an addiction seriously skews your thinking process too. You don't do heavy drugs and think clearly. So I would say that yes, it's tough to be successful in any arena if your thinking and your mindset isn't right, and you're stuck in a negative or destructive pattern.
When life negativity affects your career, is it because your career is taking up too much time?
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, if you're not giving yourself the time to rest, to heal, to process everything that happens daily, if you're constantly just in some grind, um, then yeah, I think you're definitely in not in the right place as far as to how to deal with the negative and there's just things that happen, like we had said before, life happens. So yeah, in my mind, you have to be like a samurai warrior for your peace of mind, because there's going to be negative stuff that's thrown at you every day. And then if you're already in a compromised position as far as working extensive hours at a job, then you might stay in that cycle, and unknowingly just keep yourself in a negative pattern there of, well, I got to work, I got to make money, but I'm never able to really have my time to get this stuff out and unleash and process everything that I need to process. So, absolutely.
Can you turn off the work mindset?
Yeah, I know that I can turn off the work mindset. Here's the problem though. You get in a zone where, man, I'm done. I'm cutting off. I'm disconnecting here. I'm not. Work is just an overload. Inadvertently, what you can end up doing is uh, not giving yourself all the means financially to get to where you need to be. Unfortunately, we can't just be loving and optimistic and compassionate. I think that it's important that there isn't just always a work mindset, that there's a mindset that you are always doing what you have to do to keep your peace of mind, because we can easily get caught up in some of um, the negativity, some of the overbearing stuff that's pushed on us by employers or whomever to, hey, you work harder, you're going to get this, you're going to get this, but at what cost? So for those people that never turn off the work mindset, oftentimes they're the most miserable people that I've ever met because they never have any time outside of just what their identity is and what they do at work. That's not really living to me, man. Like to me, that's almost seems like a nightmare. So you're talking to the right guy. Like I have to work to get a work mindset, and that's where I'm at. I have to actually pump myself up to get the work mindset because if I had it my way, I'd just be like, renting jet skis on a beach somewhere and just chilling. So, yeah, like for sure, there's two sides to that, and it's a double-edged sword. So, I think that to be successful, you have to be driven, but you also have to, keep in mind that, you're responsible for your peace of mind.
Should you ever mix business with pleasure?
Well, I can say that if you're talking about um, having a work relationship, I think that's a recipe for disaster. So, because you're trying to take the emotions of a relationship and also mingle those with work, and I would say there's a very high percentage that never works out. Now, you could take that to a different perception, and your pleasure could be your business. You find your passion and you go out and you make your pleasure your business and you make that profitable. Like what we're doing right here, this is one of my pleasures. The thought that we can help someone, and then by chance this gets to be something that we can do for a living and actually help people, then that would be business and pleasure because I would genuinely, and you know me, anyone that knows me, uh, I have a huge heart, and the whole purpose is of this whole thing that we're doing here is just to help one person, is to help one person get and hopefully not have to go through all the years of suffering and failure that both of us had to endure. So, yeah, there's two different ways to look at that, and of the latter, I hope that we all can make a business out of our pleasure, out of our passion. So I have coworkers that I'm fortunate enough to call my friends, and I would hope that all of us can, find a work environment where you feel comfortable, where you feel at times you're around family, people that you can trust. It does make for a better workplace, and like I said, I can honestly say that at this point, I have people that I do hang out with outside of work, and I also have people that again I would consider close friends, and I think we're all fortunate if we can do that.
How do you keep personal situations out of your workplace?
So that's probably the $1 million question for almost everybody that's out there because some of the most successful people in this world, when it comes to their business, are able to unzip themselves from their outside problems, go into their workplace, conduct their business, and then deal with those problems. Will still be there when they leave their job, but they're able to disconnect and separate because they know the value that and the goals that they have set. I have personally struggled with that and many different arenas over the years. But you get family members that get ill, relationship issues, dealing with addiction and alcoholism. It's hard sometimes for that not to. The whole reason we find out we have certain issues is because it does bleed over into our work life, and we realize how destructive that it is. So in a way, it's a lesson. It's a life lesson, but. No, again, I think some of the most successful people out there can actually, like I said, unzip themselves and are able to perform at a high level because they don't wear those emotions and those problems into their workplace. So,
As hardworking as you can be at work, can your boss limit your potential?
If you allow them to. I think the only person that limits our potential is us, is ourself. And if anybody tells you any different, they're full of shit. I mean, yeah, if you allow them to. We are the ones that are ultimately in control of how we react to the world around us and how we let others influence us. Nobody is grabbing us, physically making us do anything. It's all a mental perception and how we're going to allow a certain something that a stimulus in our environment, how we're going to allow that to affect us. At the end of the day, you can have unpleasant situations and choose not to get along with an employer or a boss. But I think oftentimes we lack the ability to communicate, and with that lack of communication, we reach a lot of dead ends because we're never able to approach a person that we may not be seeing eye to eye with. I personally have started a job and felt like I was going to fight some guy before, and over a short period of time, with communication and just talking and seeing that this person only wanted to make me more money, help me out, definitely changed the whole dynamic of that relationship. And again, the only thing that changed was the way I was perceiving it and how I was letting it affect me. So again, end of the day, anything or the only power that we have is just the way we react to the outside world and the people around us. So we have to make the choice.
Family should always come first. But what if it's ruining your business?
So nobody says that everyone in our family has to have a seat at our table. No one says that we have to allow the dysfunctions of those close to us, and we're all going to have that. We're all going to have a family member that we love and wish we could help, but ultimately they're in a destructive cycle. You have to. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself first. There's nothing wrong with, having tough love as far as sometimes we just have to love people from afar. I personally have people that I love very dearly, that are very close. I mean, in my inner circle, as far as brothers, sisters, and I can't really participate in what they're doing. I've tried, but we don't have Superman capes. We can't save everybody, but we can definitely keep ourselves on the right path. And again, at times it's just, like I said, loving somebody from afar. There's nothing wrong with that.
When do you know you've outgrown your current job and it's time for a new one?
I think when you can't see a positive in what you're doing, if it's not fulfilling you, or if it's really taking away from your peace of mind, and you're not netting any profit off of it, then you have to go. Change is essential in this life. We stay in places that they're not healthy for us. They're toxic. They're destructive. But we stay there because we're complacent. We find more comfort in the discomfort than we do in the prospect of something that we don't know. We fear the unknown, and facing fear is something I think that we all struggle with. I mean, so yeah. I mean, I think that you constantly have to keep that in check. If you're making $16,000 a month, but you may not like the job, you're still making $16,000 in a month. Like that's huge. So you may not want to be at that job, but I mean, what the hell? What else are you going to do that you're going to make that money right away? Yeah, if you don't have that lined up, then suck it up. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be forever. But we do have to continue to put ourselves where we want to be. We may have to be in uncomfortable situations, and that's just that'll never change.
When you stop chasing a perfect performance at work, is it because you're lazy or uninspired?
I'm sure it could be both. I think we can become very disheartened when you put extreme amounts of time into something. I think it's easy to get burned out. I think mentally uh, you go to the gym because if you don't go to the gym, you get out of shape. If you're not mentally uh, keeping yourself fit, as far as not allowing some circumstances that may not be ideal, and we have to again go through things that may be uncomfortable to us or just what we don't want to do. But unfortunately, you have to gain some net wealth to acquire what you want, and you have to put yourself in a position that you can leap and go to the next level or go to whatever your goals are. The add on to that, there is a concept that just some people are lazy. Some people don't have the work ethic that other people have. Some people are happy with less, and I don't know if that's right or wrong, because those people that are lazy at work could be the happiest people in the world. And who am I to say how someone else should live their life? Because that's not my place. But then there's also the aspect that you could be working in a factory, and your passion, your heart is to go, be a doctor, be a lawyer, go get your degree, and that you're just settling and working a job that is not anywhere near where your heart is. So if you're uninspired, then go find something that inspires you.
Last question. And this question is a question for me. What is it that you can say to our listeners who are going through drug addiction, alcoholism, or husbands or wives whom their spouse is going through it, or parents who kids are going through it?
Mm-hmm.
If you could just give them just some type of advice that could just help them for a moment to see a better day.
So I think for those that are going through addiction and alcoholism, whatever the dysfunction may be, you have to remember that not everyone. Well, bottom line, we're not born being these destructive beings. These are cycles and things that are imprinted onto us. There is a pain, there is a trauma that most of us go into addiction with. Normal, happy, loving people do not want to destroy themselves. There's those of us that have been there and have made it out. I love myself. I love Pat Hamill today. And I couldn't say that for 42 years. I mean, as a kid, I was tormented. There was, I don't talk too deeply about certain things on this show, but again, you experience trauma as a child, and then there's more issues that come up as an adolescent, and you've never dealt with that stuff that you had as a child. And then you have a young family, you start having kids, and you still haven't dealt with all that stuff, and before you know it, you have Mount Everest. So my best advice is talk. Please talk to someone. You're not alone. There's those of us out there that will have, you can call, you can talk, you can call and be anonymous. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to say, hey, I'm Jane Smith and I live at this address or whatever. But you can be an anonymous person and still therapeutically get some of this infection out of you. And that's all that this boils down to. The only reason that we destroy ourselves is that in some place we're lacking. We're missing the ability to truly love ourselves. And why can't we love ourselves? Is there abuse? Is there, rape? Is there, a divorce? Was there something, a death that just took you down the wrong path? Whatever it may be, if you sit there and you don't talk about it and you just allow it to keep infecting you, then nothing will ever change. It doesn't matter how many people love you. It doesn't matter how many people give you a hand and reach their hand out to you. You have to want to get that out. You have to want. You have to want something better. And the crazy thing is that I do understand the fact that we get caught up into these cycles of addiction, and it just seems hopeless. My last day using, I was ready to kill myself. I was done. I was like, I could no longer live another day like this. And there was nothing that was ever going to save me. There was nothing that was ever going to help me. So nobody can tell me a story that will shock me. Nobody can tell me something that I can be, oh, you can't be saved. Because if I can change, any of us can change. And that's it, bottom line. Until my last breath, I will continue to try to bring a light to those that can't, that are just stuck in darkness. And it all lies within. Just remember, everything lies within. And this is, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual, but we are our own gods. In my mind, we are in charge of our own salvation and our own demise. There's no in my world, there's no imaginary being that you need to pray to. You just need to have faith in yourself. I don't want to offend anybody with my beliefs, but I do know that the thing that brought me out of this was just my ability to love myself. Love is the key. It transcends, and it does transcend many religions, but spiritually, if you can love yourself, everything else will fall into place.